I'm 35 years old. I'm married with 4 kids. I'm a Malawian, originally from Mangochi district. I've been working as a nurse since 2007. Then in 2012, the Sound Seekers sponsored me to study audiology. And currently, I'm working at the ENT department as an audiological officer. I'm quite happy to say that I've been granted another opportunity to go and study abroad in the United Kingdom, in London, and do my master's degree in audiology. So I'll be the first Malawian to have a master's degree in audiology. So I'm very happy about that. After the training, I'm very sure that I'll be working in a well-equipped department, which they are also planning to build over there.
What's going on? We are about to... this is our sound booth. So excited. We just have to figure out how to get it through the door. So we'll just have to take the door off the hinge to get it off. So we can get the sound booth in there. But eventually it will be in here. And this is going to be the addition to our audiology department until we get our clinic. Great. So right now we're in one very small room. This will help tremendously and allow us to finally test our patients in a sound booth where we don't have all the extra noise of the ENT clinic, like screaming children and people opening doors, things like that. It'll make the test much more valid. And right out the window is where our clinic will be. So while I'm in here testing, I'll be able to see the progress of our clinic being built. The clinic is going to make the comprehensive audiology department actually valid. It'll give us all the equipment and space that we need. It'll give us room to grow. It'll give us room for training and staff.
My name is Sam Evans. I come from a small Welsh town in South Wales, which is called Llanelli. Basically, I'm known for being on Big Brother. I won it somehow in 2013, and it was like one of the best experiences of my life. I was born deaf. I've got 80% hearing loss in my right ear and 70% in my left ear. More difficult for me, like getting used to the idea of wearing hearing aids and stuff like that, especially in school. But looking back now, I'm really glad I am deaf because of the experience it's given me. Going out to this journey, I have my expectation, and I want to go out there. I want to see like how they do it out there, like what the audiology services and how they treat patients in the hospital and stuff. So I'm really interested in finding all that out and meeting all these new people. Good boy, come on. Basically, he's a golden retriever who doesn't retrieve. Hello, how are you?
We are fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you very much. Are you having a good day?
Thank you, sir. You are so special.
Thank you.
Sit down.
Really nice meeting you all. Wow, I'm very, such a warm welcome. I'm touched. name's Sam. I've already met Happy. I'm going to ask you a few questions about Happy's background and your background as well, and we're going to go into his hearing.
Happy was a normal child. He had normal milestones and was hearing quite okay. But when he was 4 years old, they just realized that the child could not hear some of the words, and his speech was not as clear as it was before, but there was no history of illness.
So what age did Happy have his hearing aids?
He got them this year in June.
Oh, brilliant.
That's June 2014.
And so how is he coping with the hearing aids?
The mother sees improvement with the hearing aids. She's saying that they noticed a big problem when he was in class 3, that's primary school, because she has not forgotten. He had to repeat it's almost maybe 4 times in the same class. But now when she just got the hearing aids in class 4, in the same class 3, he managed to pass the final exam and now he's in class 4.
Oh, well done, Happy. Even though Happy is doing well and he's passing his exams now, that he can hear a bit better, are there any other difficulties he's having? Even though he's had his hearing aids, are the teachers and the children he's with fully aware of that his hearing is not fully perfect?
The problem which was there before, immediately after he got his hearing aids, was that just because the other kids could not understand why he was wearing his hearing aids, they used to take them off from him and took them. They could even take them to their homes. Then the mom could get them the following day. But now, because the mother had to talk to the headmaster has helped her to tell the other kids that these are the devices which are helping him to hear like what others are doing. So because of that, now there's nothing like that happening as of today.
Okay, brilliant. So is Happy now happy?
Yes, she's saying happy.
You look happy. You all look happy.
Yeah, happy is now happy.
Happily ever after.
In Africa, there is a lot of ear disease and a lot of deafness. A lot of it is infectious diseases that can be treated by a good public health programme. Chronic ear disease, which is sort of infective ear disease, is widespread. And the bottom line is there's not a lot of treatment available for it. So I'm David Strachan. I'm an ear, nose and throat surgeon based in Bradford in Yorkshire in England. My particular interest is otology, which is ear surgery, and specifically cochlear implantation. So I'd met Wakisa a few years before in Bradford, who had come over because of a contact through a colleague of mine, Chris Ben. We spent a long time establishing links with Malawi, actually. And Wakisa was the only ENT guy, and still really is the only ENT fully trained ENT surgeon. He trained in Cape Town, but he's originally from Malawi. To cut a long story short, last year I reached a big milestone, so I decided I'd take a few months off, and it seemed like the golden opportunity to visit Malawi. So we spent 2.5 weeks in Malawi, actually, but a week of it was in the hospital, basically basing ourselves in the hospital in Blantyre, where Wakisa's based. So what happened was the first morning there was a patient, about 11-year-old girl, who had previously been normal hearing, normal speech, but about 4 or 5 weeks before had had meningitis from malaria and had basically lost all her hearing. At that time, actually, I thought the concept of doing a cochlear implant in Malawi, it just didn't seem like something that could even be suggested. What happened was that the next sort of 48 hours, I suppose, it sort of nagged on my mind a little bit, and I thought, well, certainly in the UK, with the technology available now, that child would potentially be offered, well, would definitely be offered a cochlear implant, and probably two. And that's how I ended up in September going over to do these operations. I mean, a cochlear implant is quite a complex device, really, and quite expensive. So the real amazing bit about a cochlear implant is that what it's doing is bypassing all the delicate mechanism of the inner ear, which have been damaged by whatever has damaged the hearing, and it directly stimulates the nerve of hearing. So the two patients that we ended up implanting, one is a girl who had been deafened from mumps. So in terms of communication, that's become more and more difficult. And what mum's noticed over that period of time is her speech is now beginning to become more unclear prior to the implant. And that's what tends to happen. If you can't hear, you're learning speech and communicating becomes much more unclear. The other boy, who's 17, he actually had been deafened by treatment for malaria, which is quinine. Was going through his education, read and write, could speak normally. Suddenly he lost all his hearing, and without a cochlear implant, he would struggle really in the long term to communicate, to continue his education, and of course get a job. You know, in both cases, you would look at that cause of deafness and say, that is avoidable in the long term with the public health programme. You know, to be honest, a year ago, if you'd have said to me, I'm going to be going to Malawi to do 2 cochlear implants, I would have said you're crazy. Why did I say that? Because I suppose they're so high-tech and they're expensive, and why go and put a couple of cochlear implants in a couple of patients when you could spend that money on something else, hearing aids, and help a lot more people. But I suppose what's happened in terms of my personal journey with this is that you realise that actually it isn't like that. And you hope that it will stimulate other things. One of the reasons for getting involved in this was kind of raising awareness about hearing loss, and you know what cochlear implants can do is a classic example of transforming lives for somebody that's got hearing loss. And therefore it raises people's awareness about the disability. It's a bit, you know, it's a bit like the old saying. It's quite well known actually in the ear and cochlear implant world that blindness separates from objects, but deafness separates from people.
This room also is where those with other problems, like problems to do with the nose, maybe if they are discharging from their ears or they have problems with their throat, they will come and meet the doctor here.
Okay.
So when there is a need for hearing assessment, it's when they are referred to the audio room. But first of all, they are consulted in this room. We've got this otoscope machine.
That obviously you look into my ear.
Yes.
Would you be able to
this.
find out if I have any wax in my ear?
Yes, using
that?
this, yes.
So I hope you don't mind me asking, but I haven't been to the audiology in quite a while.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if I've actually got any wax in my ears. Can you check for me?
Yes,
Yeah?
we can do
Would
that.
that be okay?
Yes.
Thank you.
Sorry, thank you. This wax.
Oh my good grief. That's disgusting. No! I look like a tooth, a rotten one.
What?
You look like a rotten tooth.
It looks like a rotten tooth.
Joyce, I'm going to be writing down my name, okay?
Okay. Joyce. Dzina la awa ndi Utabuwe. Nena Sam. Nene Sam.
Okay.
She's shy. But she's shy. Oh, she just copied the name.
Yeah, she can.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice to meet you. Okay. So, I would like to ask Joyce a few questions, okay, about her hearing difficulties. So, how old was she when she lost her hearing?
She was 6 years old when she lost her hearing.
Right. So how was she, how did that change her life?
She's finding difficulties to socialize with other kids of her age because she can't communicate with them. Of course, she's ready to start communicating, but now for the sign, it's a challenge because there's no one around who knows sign language. So
I totally understand that because I'm hard of hearing myself and I want to learn the sign, but because like Joyce, I have no one to sign with in my village, so it's really difficult then to progress your sign language. Okay. Thank you. And you tell that in British Sign Language, that means thank you.
Okay, and they are good. I got the change for sign language.
So how often will Joyce be visiting Courtney throughout the whole process where she discovers her hearing again?
So in the beginning, we're going to take Joyce to the Long Way to have her device switched on, because in the Long Way they have a sound booth, so we can check to make sure it's working properly right now.
How are you going to try and improve Joyce's life? Are you going to focus on getting her speech back, or maybe getting her confidence back?
In the appointments initially, it's purely for programming and turning it on and adjusting it the same way you adjust to your hearing aids. And then we will give Mom some take-home things that she can do to help improve Joyce's speech. Most likely I will have to come down to this area and go to Joyce's school, talk to her teacher, so that we can get on the same page about how best to help a child with hearing loss and with a cochlear implant in the classroom.
How was that, Sam?
That was a really amazing experience for me. It was so great to visit Joyce and her whole family. It was also very touching because I felt for Joyce when she's with her brothers and sisters and they're all getting excited over things. I could see that Joyce was getting really confused. Her hearing is gone and she lost her voice because of that. But back in England, she would have had the implant straight away when she lost her hearing, and that means they would have saved her voice and her speech. So it's really, the whole story for me is really touching. It's been a really great day to find out all about this. So you were one of 2 children in the whole of Malawi to have a cochlear implant. That's amazing. Could you tell us your name and your age?
Zina langa ndine Richard, ndili ndi zaka 15.
Yep. My name is Richard, and I am 15 years old.
Okay, good. So how did it feel as a parent that your child is going to get his hearing back?
She's saying that she's very happy for the cochlear implant that happened some months ago, and she's looking forward to the switch on. Yeah. And she's saying that once he gets his hearing back, he's gonna do errands around the home, because when she sent him to buy something, it was very hard for him to understand.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
So now when he gets the hearing back, everything will be okay.
Yeah.
And he's gonna be a big boy
Yeah.
in the house. Yeah.
Do you think Richard will get his confidence back quite quickly, or do you think it will take quite a long time?
Akufidirira kuti ineyo ntopanga zinthu mukuona kuti abwerera bwinobwino.
Yakoza abwerera bwinobwino amayankhulaso mwini wake kuti ine ndikangoti ndamva china chilichonse chiwuza kukhala m'malo mwake.
She's saying that yes, the confidence will come back, just because he's a strong guy, yeah. So everything will be okay. And before the cochlear operation implant, Richard was very violent. He would be violent.
Right.
Yeah, he would beat friends, but after that, he has never done that like in a month. And the mother thinks everything will be okay, and he's gonna be a good boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Say my name. So I came out to Malawi to discover the services out here in regard to audiology. I was very moved when I saw Happy in particular, because I could see that he needed his hearing aids in school, because there's so many children in that class and there was no awareness around. But now he's had the hearing aid and people understand why he needs them. And when I saw him have his hearing aid and he's actually part of a class, and that gave me a great sense of hope. It was absolutely amazing to go there and visit Joyce as well, who's had her operation, and the thought of her getting her speech back, you know, that's amazing. So when I compare my childhood to Joyce and Happy's, I wish they had the services that I did. It held them back in life. You know, they are struggling. So when I see them now with hearing aids and Joy's going to have a cochlear implant, it gives me that, it makes me happy. So I'm really glad I come out here and help that with Sound Seekers. I couldn't have asked for a better trip.